That's what we needed. But, yo, we're going to go ahead and move on. Hey, OTAs, we've seen it. It's ended. We know what it is. They're in shorts. You know what I mean? It's not, it's not really mandatory. They come out there, they do their things. Certain ones are, but it's done. What's your general overall view of how you think everything went?
Well, there's no injuries this year, so that's huge. Yes. A couple of years ago, our starting linebacker, Reuben Foster, ended his career during these mini camp sessions. Yeah. So that's first and foremost, that's it. But, it's like we say, yes, Nathan, perfect. That's where I was going with this. Like, it's something to talk about other than off-field contracts and, forecasting a roster. But it's not much, There's a couple things that we're going to hype. There's a couple things you see, but really it's a shell of what we're going to see on Sundays. So you can only get so excited.
Right. And honestly, it begs the question. We've asked it. I've talked to Nathan about it. I've talked to you about it. How important is it? You know what I mean? It's basically pitch and catch in the backyard, things that if you guys have been trying to build a chemistry, you would have done outside of this, but it's just something that's been put a label. The NFL said come together. Like, how important really are OTAs? Not that much, but it is good to see something. And for the enthusiasts, the football enthusiasts that love football, and it's like, okay, we're ready. We're ready to get this going. It's good to see, but I am glad that it's over. Let's go right into the top of the list. We have to talk about our guy. We've had good signs early. Things looked okay. Then maybe, they start switching things up on defense. Not so much as of late. Carson Wentz, he's been kind of struggling as of late. Is he under the pressure? Is he feeling under pressure?
Yeah. So, at the beginning of minicamp, that was kind of all the talk is Wentz and the zip he's got and with the receivers and this arm strength that he's doing. And then week 2 happened and things got a little not so good. And what we heard is some of the things that are his downfall is pocket presence. Mm-hmm. That started to come out. We're going to mention the guy in the next segment or the next part here, but some of the defensive line started to play pretty good and were putting pressure in his face and throwing off his timing, and whether, the knock on him at times can be either he holds on to the ball too long, which makes me think of that opening game for Chase Young, the welcome to the NFL, where he had a sack or two and a forced fumble, and Carson was trying to wait for someone to open up deep, and it was too much time. Or they say, he gets rid of it too quickly and doesn't realize, hey, you've got more time. Let that play develop. You've got it there.
Right. Yeah.
Now, the thing is here is first and foremost, Terry was not there. So let's remember that. We've got some injuries along the offensive line, but most importantly, I highly doubt he's running in any of these plays.
Yeah.
All right. So let's not overblow this by saying, he's showing bad pocket presence when that could have been a play that he could have ran. And instead he's staying in the pocket, trying to figure out how to throw the ball, in my opinion. I wasn't there to see it. I'm having to listen to people's take. So it's like, again, this is like practice. Why are you going to run the ball? Unless you're running like a 2-minute drill where you're really trying to get down the field. What do you think?
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Another part of that is that, we got to take into effect that there is another side to this that is also competing to, get their agenda across, which is that defense. And what has been talked about is that recently the defense has become more aggressive with, their blitz packages and whatnot. And look, that front seven, we talked about those inside guys, and we're going to talk about somebody in a minute. Those middle three with Jonathan Allen, Fadarius Mathis, and Deron Payne are really, really able to make, be create a lot of dysfunction in that middle. You know what I mean? And really are getting in there making big plays. And the guy we're talking about soon, Deron Payne, has just been going above and beyond with just, how he's playing. Again, they're in shorts. This is OTAs, but still, he's sitting here, and this is something that you want to see. And when you have things like that for the offense, now all of a sudden, and Leno's out, and Lucas has been out for a little bit recently, but Wentz is still dealing with this pressure, and kind of sometimes he'll step up, but with him, what I'm worried about is he gets in his head with that, and then he starts getting this phantom pressure, and then he starts rolling out when he doesn't need to, and then actually rolling into pressure. Mm-hmm. And now you're creating problems for us. Now you have this left-handed throw and all this other inaccuracy. So this is the time to get that stuff fixed. But it's kind of like, it's hard not to go into your mind and say, these are the things that we were wary about before. The things that he did in Indianapolis and late in Philly. It's like, we don't want that. You know what I mean? So, right. But let's temper those emotions. They're not. This is just OTAs. Let's go to training camp. And he doesn't, like you said, he didn't have Terry. So let's get into that.
Right. You also mentioned that they're wearing shorts. Yeah. We're not running the ball. We're not wearing down the defense. And also they talked about how the defense was kind of improving a lot and ratcheting up the intensity. Yep. The defense also has an idea what's going on out there. There's not a whole lot of confusion by the offense, so they know a little bit more out there. So they do have a chance to kind of show out a little bit more. So I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, my concern, 10 being like the highest concern about his struggles, honestly, right now I'm at a 2 or a 3. Right. I'm really low with this for now because it's June.
Right. And if it continues, we'll talk. But again, had a couple pieces missing on the offense. It's kind of really vanilla. So yeah, I'm with that. But I can't say, I cannot lie. I have to say, I cannot lie. I am very excited when you hear then the defense is really kind of ratcheting up a little bit. That to really kind of get it going. And that 3-piece that I kind of was talking about before in the middle, woo, I'm digging it. I'm really interested. Warren Sapp came over and he was at our camp working with our guys. I like that. Is he going to be a coach? Maybe, I don't know. But what do you think about that?
That's helping this. I love that. Why would you not want to learn from one of the best?
Right.
And here, okay, so I know you all have talent, but here's how you find ways to get around, and fix your technique. They talked about Warren Sapp being this kind of quick twitch style rusher that Deron Payne's got a little bit of that, where they said, Mathis is a lot more technique and using angles and stuff. And so, no, I think that's great. The more knowledge you can get is fantastic. So I love having Warren.
Yeah. I'm absolutely loving that, because one of the things that they were saying he was talking about was, kind of teaching the guys to be more of the pack defense. Like the pack of wolves, multiple guys to the ball as the lone wolf dies, he was saying, and it becoming more of the pack. And he was saying that, and, one of the things Ben Stanek was talking about was that, when you thought about Matt Ioannidis, he did kind of his own thing in the middle, as opposed to working together with Jonathan Allen and with Fidarius Mathis and Deron Payne, especially, definitely have kind of meshed together. And that's something that we've been talking about, to kind of controlling and maybe getting that penetration in the middle, so that when our guys are, coming around the edge, that's collapsing that inside, not giving them any room to breathe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was kind of, and it's so timely for Deron Payne too, because he skipped the team drills previously at OTAs. And on minicamp, he was being very careful. But all of a sudden, in that second week, he said, all right, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to show my worth. And, the story was how he was just putting pressure right into Carson Wentz's face. And he was almost to the point unblockable. As Nathan said, are they going to focus on signing him next? I don't think so. I think they're going to let him play this year out before they figure out what they have to do. But it's only helping him if he makes an impact. Right. I thought it was interesting. They said, we've known this about Deron Payne, where he does the little things. He does the dirty work. He's not going to be a bunch of sacks guys, but he had 15 quarterback pressures last year. I believe the year before, Jonathan Allen was ranked 3rd in the league at 17. And that was the stat that Jack gave us when he talked about Allen is worth the money because he had 8 sacks, but he also had 17 quarterback pressures. And I didn't realize that Jerome Payne got into the backfield a little bit more. So was that's a evolution of his game or what? It's kind of one of those things with him. He doesn't do the stuff that shows up on the stat books.
Right.
But the team knows his value.
Right. I mean, and honestly, I think the word to describe him is underrated. You know what I mean? When you sit there and think about it. And I mean, let's be clear. I mean, you have 3 other big names on that defensive line: Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and Jonathan Allen. So he can potentially get lost in that mix. But he absolutely has his impact is felt on that defense. And I'm glad that he's showing up right now. This is the time. Look, you've seen somebody else just got paid. You go out here and make your money too, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, hey, and we need it. Absolutely. But other than him, who has stood out to you?
Yeah. So a defensive player, a position that you and I are both concerned about depth.
Yeah.
And they said that Benjamin St. Juste made the transition inside to the nickel corner at slot and looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And they said he provided a little bit of that Buffalo nickel a little bit. That we were always looking, well, what's going to happen with Landon Collins? And they just said the minute they moved him inside, because he's tall, he's lengthy, and he's pretty instinctual, that he looked really, really good in that spot.
Yeah.
The big concern on him is going to be, is there any after effects from the injuries, from the concussions?
Exactly.
Because we liked him last year. They liked him last year. And then he missed about half the season, the whole second half of the season. He was out. So hearing that is good. Kind of hearing a little bit about the defense, saying the whole Buffalo nickel thing, the Landon Collins replacement's a little bit overblown. That's kind of that thing that Nathan says, media always tries to put panic on us. It's like, what are we going to do about this position? And they were kind of like, we're going to go back to more traditional 2 safeties. We got another safety we'll bring in. They said they called it the Cinco package, going 5-2, a little bit there. So they kind of said like, you guys kind of blew this out of the water a little bit. But no, Benjamin St. Juste is someone to keep an eye on. We could certainly need, some help at corner, at nickel. And if he's going to be good, that's going to help us a lot.
I think the easy answer is to say Jahan Dotson. I think he has absolutely been everything that's been as advertised. I love what he's bringing, and now bringing Terry back into the mix just makes me more excited. You know what I mean? This was the excitement that I maybe naively had for De'Ami Brown last year. Yes. But Jahan Dotson is definitely he is one that is really close with Carson Wentz as far as the chemistry and how they're working on the field, and I'm excited about that. But I also want to talk about Casey Toohill. Casey Toohill has been showing up in the absence, how with Chase Young not necessarily being there, he's been coming in there and showing him and John Smith Williams. You know what I'm saying? So having them both in there, but Casey Toohill has definitely been kind of, flexing himself and trying to get, and now again, I have to be honest, it has been against the twos, but still having him as he's one of the, the fastest D ends that we have on the team, where he has the fastest 40 time, and he's just starting to really figure out his role and then step up. You have more years in the system, you kind of are able to make more of an impact. So I see him doing something. I mean, he's been showing me something from what I've been, picking up and paying attention to.
Absolutely. So. He seems to be like a solid player, can do certain parts of his job, fairly well. He's something where he's going to be, that type of stuff. And he's lengthy. He's athletic.
Right. And that's good for now, especially with some of the things that we're going to have to get into in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.